Hello, and thank you for joining us. My name is Crystal Bershey, and I am the Program Manager for Veterans Employment Services. Before we kick off this presentation, please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Have you ever thought about a registered apprenticeship program? If not, we've got an excellent presentation for you today. You are going to learn all about registered apprenticeships and the benefits that come along with them. Today, you're going to hear from Veterans Employment Services staff, the state approving agency, our MWA partners, Consumers Energy, and a fellow veteran will be on to share his story and successes in the Veteran Apprenticeship Program.
Hello, my name is Isa Dowdy. I work for the state of Michigan and I'm a Veterans Career Advisor. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my role in supporting the veterans who are interested in an apprenticeship program. My job is to assist veterans with significant barriers to employment by helping to eliminate or reduce those barriers. These barriers can include things such as homelessness, a low income, lack of pre-vocational skills, meaning the veteran may need a resume or an update to an existing resume, or they may need additional education or credentials. For instance, if I have a veteran with two barriers, one being pre-vocational skills, lack of, and the other being low income, apprenticeship will be ideal for this veteran. The process usually goes something like this. The veterans come into a Michigan Works office and is identified as a veteran at the Michigan Works orientation. And during orientation, the veteran will fill out a military questionnaire form with their contact information and two yes or no qualifying questions to determine their eligibility. Then the Michigan Works staff will register the veteran into a database, and I'll receive the completed military questionnaire and contact the veteran. I then will schedule an appointment to meet with the veteran and complete an intake and conduct a comprehensive assessment. Now, this comprehensive assessment is extremely important pertaining to apprenticeships because this is when I'll fill it out and see if the veteran have ever participated or already completed an apprenticeship. And then I'll identify the veteran's career goals, assess the veteran's background or military occupation specialty or the MLS to kind of closely match the apprenticeship program or opportunities. This is also a time I will help the veteran to see the benefits of participating in our apprenticeship program as an alternative to traditional employment, such as immediate access to wages while in training, job skills, pay increases with skill increases, flexible training options, and credentials. Then I'll work with the external partners to connect interested veterans with these apprenticeship opportunities. I'll assist the veterans to eliminate or reduce their barriers so that they're able to focus and be successful in their program. Once the veterans' barriers are eliminated or at least reduced to some degree, I can then refer the veteran to our local veteran employment representative, who we call LEVER. They will also assist with matching the veteran up with the apprenticeship program of the veteran's choice. In addition to reaching out to the LEVER, I can also refer the veteran to Michigan Works apprenticeship coordinators. They also have access to different apprenticeship supportive services to assist the veteran to complete the apprenticeship program, such as clothing, equipment, steel-toe boots, and bus passes. My, myself and Michigan Works are also there to support that veteran after they complete that apprenticeship by assisting the veteran with the job searches. Then I can also provide additional pre-vocational assistance through career coaching and appropriate referrals. I also have conducted outreach to different apprenticeship programs to find out more information about their programs and also to discuss and answer questions about our programs. Once again, my name is Isa Dowdy, and thank you for listening to my portion about registered apprenticeships from a veteran's perspective. And I hope you consider registering for a registered apprenticeship. Now you'll hear from our local veteran employment representative, a leaver named Fred Pittman.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Fred Pittman. I'm one of 6 local veteran employment representatives, and I'm with the state of Michigan, Michigan Department of Labor and Economic Opportunity, Workforce Development, and Veterans Employment Services. And then, like I said just a moment ago, I'm one of 6 leavers or local veterans employment representatives in the state. My area that I'm responsible for is Genesee, Shiawassee, Thumb, Great Lakes Bay, and Capital Area. So those are the areas that I'm responsible for. Like I mentioned, well, I'm one of 6, and we are out there actually providing information to our employers, what we can provide for them. In our case, it's employment assistance. We're trying to find out whether or not they're involved with apprenticeships and whether they have any training and employment opportunities. But as far as apprenticeships are concerned, if we do have any businesses that are in the apprenticeships or need assistance in the apprenticeships, that's where we coordinate with our Michigan Works apprenticeship support coordinators. So our apprenticeship support coordinators are the ones that are the so-called experts as far as apprenticeship information is concerned. So we work closely with them and the employers, and they're pretty much the experts. So we kind of hand off to them. But of course, we're all in the copy mode as far as getting that information. And we get that information and we send it out to our veteran career advisors and our Michigan Works partners. The apprenticeship referral process, as far as the leaver is concerned, the VCA or the Veteran Career Advisor, they will actually meet with the veteran and they would actually go over information. And if they are interested in apprenticeship type opportunities, when they refer that veteran to the leaver, it will let us know that. What the Veteran Career Advisor will do is make sure that veteran is what we call job ready and that they've done their best to eliminate any significant barriers to employment. So then the veteran gets referred to us. Once we do have that referral, we actually talk with our apprenticeship support coordinators or ASCs, and we also talk with our employers, and we actually find out information as far as apprenticeship opportunities that are available. We will always follow up with the veteran as far as their process, where they're at. Now, I know in the past we've had some Michigan Works actually have pre-apprenticeship type classes to make that veteran ready for apprenticeship opportunities with that particular employer. So there are opportunities out there as far as apprenticeships are concerned at the veteran end. Both the veteran career advisors, the apprenticeship support coordinators, and myself follow the veteran through the process for hopefully successful conclusion to where they're actually in an apprenticeship type opportunity with an employer.
Good afternoon. I am Wanda Bigelow. I am the apprenticeship manager with GST Michigan Works. I cover Genesee County, Huron, Lapeer, Sanilac, Shiawassee, and Tuscola counties. I'm going to go over some information about registered apprenticeship programming, funding, and the support that Michigan Works is able to provide for employers. There are 16 apprenticeship success coordinators in the state of Michigan. Apprenticeship success coordinators are experienced with assisting employers who are interested in creating their own program by meeting one-on-one to begin the process of creating a new program. The apprenticeship success coordinator will continue meeting with the apprenticeship success coordinator will coordinate meetings with the appropriate partners. Some of those partners may include training providers, Department of Labor, Office of Apprenticeship. And once a program is developed, the apprenticeship success coordinator can assist in recruitment of qualified individuals through apprenticeship readiness programs, job fairs, and assessments. In addition to being a connection, apprenticeship success coordinators are regional promoters and can help connect career seekers with the right skills to an apprenticeship program. Apprenticeship success coordinators also have access to funding for employers creating or expanding US DOL registered apprenticeship programs. Some examples of that funding include Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, or better known as WIOA funding. This funding is a federally funded program. It has eligibility requirements. But in the next few slides, I'm going to go over some examples of additional funding that may be available to employers and or apprentices. I just want to start by saying each Michigan Works agency operates similar, but they also have their own set of processes. ITA, a payment. So the individual training account, or an ITA, is a payment agreement established on behalf of an eligible WIOA participant with an eligible training provider. On-the-job training. Now this training by an employer for a paid participant will engage in productive work in a job that provides knowledge or skills essential to the full and adequate job training funding. These are funds that I cannot get that sentence out. On-the-job training funds. These are training funds provided to an employer who is paying an apprentice while they are engaged in productive work in a job that provides knowledge or skills essential to the full and adequate performance of a job. OJTs provide reimbursement up to 50%. They are limited in duration. And then we have the supportive services funding for apprentices. These services include funding for things such as transportation, childcare, needs-related payments, and they may be provided if they are necessary to enable the individuals to participate in a registered apprenticeship program. Other items that this could include are supplies, books, tools, and uniforms. This funding is also utilized for veterans that are interested in entering into a registered apprenticeship program, and the on-the-job training funds are available to employers who are putting veterans to work through an apprenticeship program. This slide, we're going to talk about the Going Pro Talent Fund. The application process for this year has just ended. It will open up again next year. I'll briefly cover this, but the funding that is covered through this, it is reimbursement for individual employees, training costs, and for any employer starting a registered apprenticeship program, they may be eligible for up to $3,000 for each first-year apprentice they have registered. The Going Pro Apprenticeship Grant. This is new funding that's available to offset the employer's cost of a registered apprenticeship training. The goal is to cultivate and expand the use of registered apprenticeship programs in Michigan. And then an apprenticeship success coordinator can help assist employers in determining the training needs and the funding amounts that may be available. The grant is administered at the local MWA level, and again, procedures and funding amounts can vary. To find the Apprenticeship Success Coordinator in your area, you can visit michigan.gov/apprenticeship. And this is my contact information. Again, I am Wanda Bigelow. I'm the Apprenticeship Manager with GST Michigan Works. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Troy Tissue. I'm a higher education consultant with the Michigan State Approving Agency. And I'm going to speak to you briefly regarding the apprenticeship programs in the GI Bill and how a veteran or a GI Bill beneficiary can benefit from an apprenticeship. Not everybody comes out of the military or is a beneficiary of GI Bill benefits and immediately wants to pursue post-secondary education or go to college. Sometimes it's going into the workforce that's more appealing. And in this case, if you're eligible for the GI Bill benefits, you can use those benefits as an apprentice with an employer. What I'd like to do is give you just a little bit of background, and that is speaking next to why would an employer want to essentially reach out to you as a veteran and look at you as an option for an apprenticeship. Well, the reason for that, quite frankly, can be in the numbers as well. And what that means is that high school graduation rates throughout the country are deviating considerably. And one of those is the state of Michigan. It's declining all the way through 2030. And in doing that, that means employers have less of a manpower pool of which to recruit to. What that then means is that if they're going to reach out to you as an apprentice, you can then leverage your GI Bill to essentially bring additional monies based on the GI Bill into your household. GI Bills and their payments fluctuate from Chapter 30 to 33, 35, 1606. The majority of GI Bill recipients in today's age are those of Chapter 33, which are also called post 9/11. And how this works is a little bit different than going to college or going to a university regarding how the GI Bill is dispersed to you, the veteran or the beneficiary. And we're going to take Chapter 33 beneficiaries to use as an example. Essentially, what will happen is if you enter into an apprenticeship that is approved by the state approving agency, again, the agency which I work for, and is thereafter is acknowledged by the VA as an employer with an apprenticeship that has the ability to pay GI Bill benefits. If you enter into that apprenticeship, here's what's going to happen. Essentially, your GI Bill payment is based on the zip code of that employer. Now, what that means is that where the employer factory is, or where their headquarters is, where their office is, military housing allowance, or also it's very close to BAH, and we're probably all familiar with that, is based on that zip code for that employer. So your rate, your monies are based on that. And it's also based on the rate of an E5 with dependents. Doesn't mean you were in the E5 when you're in the military, but that's the rate it's paid. So for example, what I'm showing here is the apprenticeship and or on-the-job training zip code in this example is 48912. Currently, that pays $1,446 of GI Bill benefits. And during the training period, it starts out at 100%. The training period may be 4 years, it may be 2 years. It depends upon the apprenticeship that you've entered into. And again, for the first 6 months, you receive 100% of that, which is the $1,446. And that is paid directly to you, not to the employer. That's on top of your wages, on top of your hourly wages during your apprenticeship. And this, again, is the VA pays this directly to you as the beneficiary. After the first 6 months, it then starts to drop, or starts to tear down to 80%. Again, as you can see, then the next 6 months to 60%, 40, and 20 for the remainder or the duration of the apprenticeship. And those percentages are, in this case, of that $1,446. So realistically, let me kind of show you how this works out. And that is the top left-hand corner where it says GI Bill benefits, zip codes. I've taken an example of 3 different zip codes, and they're realistically throughout the country. One is in Michigan, another is in, I believe it was Georgia, and another on the West Coast in California. So essentially, if you remember the previous slide, it's all good. All those GI Bills are going to recipients of those 3 zip codes. We're going to say a veteran is training in each one of those zip codes. And let's say they're all doing the same thing, all in the same apprenticeship, meaning maybe electrician. Well, their benefits are actually going to be different because of the zip code based of their employer. As you can see, the 1965 for the veteran in Michigan, down in Georgia, $22.59 per month. And that's starting. Remember, that's at a 100% rate. Conversely, down at the bottom left-hand corner, the apprenticeship competency and income. Well, your competency is going to be low because you're just starting that apprenticeship. You're just learning how to be, in this case, an electrician. And your income is going to be at the starting wage for the apprenticeship. So as that arrow starts to creep up, your competency and your hourly wage also starts to increase. And if you remember the previous slide, after the first 6 months, it goes down to 80 or 90%, and then the next 6 months, 80%, etc. Well, essentially, that's that arrow that's starting at the top left-hand corner, and conversely, your GI Bill benefits are being paid less per month during those steps as your hourly wage and competency is going up. So realistically, they're compensating slightly for each other during the apprenticeship. And until, of course, it bottoms out, the GI Bill benefits zero out when you become a journeyman. What I'd like to discuss further is the eligibility by military service that the veteran can receive. And that's very important because, as we spoke of 100% payment by zip code, that's based on the rate that the beneficiary is actually paid for post 9/11. So essentially, a Chapter 33 individual that serves 36 months or greater, or longer, if you will, is a 100% recipient of GI Bill benefits. A person who has served up to 30 months, but not 36, is a 90%. 24 months, but not 30, is at 80%, and it continues to go down. And the reason that's important is that if you're an individual who gets 90%, then essentially that 100% rate for the GI Bill is actually going to be at 90%, as far as that's what your payment is. So I feel that's very important to understand. You can find more information with that type of breakout if you simply go to the VA website, Google, if you will, or whatever your favorite search engine may be, and simply type in VA apprenticeships, and it will, one of those top results will give you considerably more information on how your benefits can be paid to you. Maybe if you're a Chapter 30 or a 1606, it will break that down as well. What I would also like to do is explain to you briefly what our agency does in support of veteran programming. On the front end, we actually approve these apprenticeships for VA purposes. If our agency had not approved an apprenticeship that you might be enrolled in, you would not be able to receive GI Bill benefits. So we partner with the Department of Labor, with the employer as well, and ensure that it's a program that meets all federal requirements for you to receive your GI Bill benefits. On the back end, we then go into the employer later on, might be a year or two later, and perform compliance surveys. Some people will call those audits. But we want to ensure that the employer is treating the veterans right, the monies and the training is taken care of in a correct manner. So we kind of go from cradle to grave in regarding the apprenticeship program and the experience that the veteran has in each individual apprenticeship. And we do that for all apprenticeships for the state of Michigan. What I'd also like to do is speak of the GI Bill comparison tool. As you can see pictured, this is a VA product that allows the veteran or GI Bill beneficiary to search, in this case, for approved apprenticeship programs. Apprenticeship programs essentially that are already waiting for you in the event that you're employed to be able to use your GI Bill and receive those benefits. And let me show you briefly where you would go. You can Google GI Bill comparison tool. This is the landing screen you'll come on. And then you can come down here. If you know the name of the employer or a zip code, you can type that in. In this case, we'll use an employer's name. Essentially, I'm going to try to find Consumers Energy, and that brought that up. Though it says there's currently 0 GI Bill students there, this information is not necessarily always up to date. It's a VA product that is measured sometimes annually. So there could easily be additional students there or GI Bill beneficiaries in this particular case. And so it will just tell you what your housing allowance would be per month. You also get a book stipend if you're enrolled in an apprenticeship program. And it also tells you how it breaks it down, as we spoke of previously. So hopefully the GI Bill comparison tool would be a benefit to you.
Hello, my name is Bill Krieger, and I'm the Veterans Affairs Program Manager here at Consumers Energy. And today I want to talk a little bit about apprentices, but let me talk a bit about my background. I'm a 10-year Navy veteran where I was a computer technician, but I'm also retired from the Michigan National Guard as a military police captain. So I've got a few years in the military. I've been with Consumers Energy for 27 years. And when we talk about apprenticeships, I know a lot of times people talk about jobs, but really what we have are careers when it comes to that. We have some great apprenticeship programs in our electric lines department, as well as our electric meter services and our plant electricians and our substation maintenance and operations. So there's a lot of different ways to get into apprenticeships here at Consumers Energy. And there's a lot of different ways that we take a look at bringing people in. But when we look for people to come into the apprenticeships, we're really looking for motivated, highly qualified folks who have a safety mindset and a team mentality. And that's really where veterans come in. If you think about it, as a veteran, you're coming from a place where you went to basic training, you learned some great leadership skills, you learned how to work within a team, you develop some camaraderie, you understand chain of command. There's a lot of great things that our veterans bring to our company in our apprenticeships. And some of the ways that we look for people are on the internet. If you go to the Consumers Energy website, there's a spot for veterans to click in and see what we have available. We work with the Center for Energy Workforce Development. They have a thing called Troops to Energy, where jobs are out there. And then every year we have our Electric Lines Boot Camp. So if you go to electriclinesbootcamp.com, you can get all the information about that. But when you think about what we're looking for, again, we're looking for a clean driving record. If you have a CDL license, that's a bonus. You need to have an honorable discharge from the military. That's kind of your ticket to get in. If you do not have an honorable discharge, though, you can work with the VA to take a look at what happened and possibly have that taken care of as well. But we are looking for people who are motivated, physically fit. You don't have to know this job. That's why it's an apprenticeship. Having a background, for instance, if you're looking at electric lines, having a background in electronics and electricity is always a bonus, but you don't have to. That's why you come into apprenticeship and you learn it from the ground up. And again, you're not just learning a job, you're learning a career. And these careers pay very, very well. If you look at the apprentice pay scales, it's pretty amazing. If you're in a registered apprenticeship, which is what we have here at Consumers Energy, you may qualify for GI Bill benefits. So that could be $1,000 to $1,500 a month tax-free that you get paid directly to you just for being an apprenticeship because you earned those benefits. We want you to use them, and that's part of my job. At Consumers Energy, we hire a lot of veterans. Anywhere from 10 to 13% of our coworkers are veterans. And they hired me as a Veterans Affairs Program Manager to take care of you once you get here as a veteran, to help you navigate our company, our culture, help you navigate the VA, how to use your GI Bill benefits, and all of those things. So registered apprenticeship is just an amazing thing for you to get a career, to do something that you enjoy doing. And, many times we talk about getting a college degree. And I can tell you from personal experience that a college degree is an amazing thing to get, but not all of us are meant to get college degrees or even want to get college degrees. Many of us just want to get a career and get started, and an apprenticeship is a great way to do that, to get into the trades. Just to share a really quick story with you, and this isn't a veteran story, but I just kind of want to illustrate going into the trades. I have a daughter. She graduated high school and she went to college. I think she went to college for about 5 minutes, and she racked up about $5,000 in college debt and realized that college just wasn't something that she wanted to do. So she took what we call a gap year. If anyone's familiar with that, I said, hey, take a year off and figure out what you want to do. And throughout that year, we kind of chatted. She never really came back to me with anything, and the year was getting up, and I wanted to make sure she was going to do something. So we sat down, we had some coffee, and her goal was to get into the trades, and not to go to college, but to go to trade school and learn a trade. And we had this long conversation about how learning a trade is no different than going to college, that you're getting an education, you're getting great benefits, and again, you're getting a career and not just a job. She went into the trades and she's very, very happy today. And so many veterans who are getting out of the military have a sense of loss of camaraderie, maybe a loss of direction. Maybe you're not sure what it is you want to do, but a registered apprentice is a great way to figure that out, a great way to get a career, and a great way to get a job that you can take care of yourself, and if you want, take care of your family as well. So please go out to consumersenergy.com if you are looking to get into the electric trades. Also, the state of Michigan has some great resources and great information out there for you. Ask a lot of questions. Make sure you're doing the right things, and we look forward to seeing you here at some point. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Corey Rosenkrantz. I'm a electric line worker apprentice here at Consumers Energy. I by no means would I say I fell into this trade. I come through the veterans program, and we're here to kind of highlight that in veterans apprenticeships. My journey started probably, I want to say, 2 years out from getting out of the military. I knew that I had a 4 years total in the military. I knew that I enjoyed my time, but I wanted to transition into the civilian world. I figured out I wanted to get into line work. I would say about a year and a half from getting out. So I did the necessary steps behind the scenes. I got my CDL. I kept a clean driving record. And I eventually, when I transitioned out, I knew I wanted to be in line work. So I went to a climbing school, and I did everything I could to get into a union apprenticeship. Everyone knows in this field, the cream of the crop is a union apprenticeship. You have non-union apprenticeships and you have union apprenticeships. A lot of these companies, especially in the North, if we're talking about Michigan, are union-based apprenticeships. With that, you have Department of Labor accreditations. And when you have those formal form of education, you can collect GI benefits. So that's a whole nother piece we'll get into. So I get out of the Army, I do my 4 years. Veterans Day, I see a posting for Consumers Energy electric line worker. I thought, I went to high school in Michigan. This is too good to be true. I saw the wages they were offering. I saw the program, the structure of it, and I thought, this is where I want to be. So I applied for it, and they took 500 applications. So I made sure, my mom reviewed it, my stepmom reviewed it, my dad reviewed it. I had everybody I know review my resume. I put packets together, everything I could do to try and get just through the application process. Well, I made it past that step of 500 people, and then they narrowed it down to 100 phone interviews. Then of those 100 phone interviews, they selected 40 of us to go to a climbing school. So then at the climbing school, it's a whole 2-week training process, and then they're down to a 3-day orientation. And that orientation, whereas when you find out if you get the job or if you don't get the job, I mean, it's a pretty nerve-wracking process, because you can make one little mistake and there goes, you're back to square one. So us 40, we go to the tryouts. It's an all veterans tryout. We go to the tryout. 19 of us end up passing, and that's pretty much where this whole journey begins of our apprenticeship. Now, all of a sudden, you've got this whole access to GI benefits, this new career, the benefits that come with apprenticeships. When you can narrow it down to consumers and the perks that it comes for working for a company like that, the structure, the stability, you can narrow it down to just what the trades bring and what apprenticeships bring. You've got families you have to look out for. You've got a sense of security you want to build for yourself and those you care about. So to back up and go back to my story, I get the job. I get every posting in the state of Michigan. It was kind of a lucky thing due to my social security number, but I got any posting I wanted in the state of Michigan. So I was doing my research, and Traverse City came up, and I'm like, that is somewhere that I want to live. So I go to Traverse City. I get all that lined up in a row, and then I start to figure out my GI Bill benefits. Consumers Energy has a veterans representative, and he kind of figures all that hard stuff out for us. We just get him what we need to get. So you can collect a housing to focus in on the GI benefits. For a union apprenticeship, like I said earlier, it's Department of Labor credentials. It's a formal form of education. So you have guys who go to college, and they're going to get paid a housing allowance, you're going to get your tuition paid for. Well, then the GI Bill thought, how can we, what about apprenticeship? You've got guys here that can't give up these benefits just because they don't want to go directly into college. So apprenticeships, it's a whole segment on va.gov if you're interested in it. And it'll tell you step by step what you need to know, what you need to do, how to get certified, how to maintain your certification. So all that came into play, and you get a housing allowance. I can go into numbers, but broad spectrum, you're going to get 100% of the housing allowance your first 6 months. The second 6 months is 80%. The next 6 months is 60%. The next 6 months is 40%, then 20%. And as you're doing that in your apprenticeship, you're going up in wages. So your housing allowance is keeping you up in wages. And it really is it's almost too good to be true when you look at the numbers. You're going to get these jobs, get these apprenticeships, and think, wow, and I get a tax-free housing allowance that gets deposited into my bank account every month. And those are some of the hard set benefits that come with the job. Now, when you talk about apprenticeships, there's a reason people join the military, and those same core values and beliefs you have come along with the day-to-day workplace of whether it be the gas side of things, the electric side of things, whether you want to be a union carpenter or an indoor wireman. All these things have one common thing, and that's the core values. You want to work around like-minded individuals. Every time I get the chance to talk about what I do, my job, my path, it always leads back to the brotherhood. It's a very simple topic to talk about. In the Army, you've got a family, you've got a brotherhood. You work a dangerous job, you look out for the people to your left and your right. You work in a team. When you move to these apprenticeships, it's the same thing. It might be a whole different world of what you're physically doing, but the beliefs behind what you're doing and how you operate as a team, as a unit, as a crew, it all falls in the same setting, and you'll feel right at home when you do that. Veterans, speaking to other veterans here, you're going to get out and you're going to lose a sense of your family. Something's going to be missing. You're going to be out in the real world. You're going to be like, man, I really had it pretty good. You fall into these apprenticeships and you won't have that missing piece anymore. You'll just have a whole new brotherhood. Talked about all the wonderful side of the apprenticeship, but there are some things you need to do behind the scenes to get this done. These jobs are great. They're not even jobs. These careers come with a lot of benefits. But with that being said, there is work that needs to be put in on your end. There's a reality to that. I spent years getting, let's say you're in the military right now and you want to get your commander's signature to get approved to go to school. There's a lot of nitty gritty that needs to be done. You're going to get, like I said earlier, you're going to go on va.gov and you're going to find these apprenticeships. You've also got helmets to hard hats, which is a big one. Helmets to hard hats will get you aligned with any sort of IBW union, anything you want to do. And it will have checklists of steps 1 through completion. And it might seem like a lot and it might seem overwhelming, but really buckle down and do it. It's for you, it's for your family, it's for your future. This stuff, you look back on it, was easy. It might seem hard now because it's a 6-month journey, but when you buckle down and get it all done, it's not a hard process. So you need to, and if you work for any major company, they'll have a VA rep and they'll walk you right through it. For example, for me, I mean, when I say it took me a year and a half to get to this point, I would say it was more along the lines of 2 years, whether it being getting your commercial driver's license, because a lot of these jobs, that's a major benefit. You need to buckle down and get that. It's a process, but it's worth it. Or keeping your driving record clean, keeping a good head on your shoulders so you're passing background checks. And another thing, you need to have an honorable discharge. When we're speaking to veterans here, these companies, an honorable discharge, DD-214 is kind of the golden ticket. Now, there are some certain conditions that you can explain for, and there's a repeals process if you don't have an honorable discharge, but that honorable is the golden ticket to get started in this. Once you get that, then the work comes. When you apply for these jobs, they're going to have checklists. Buckle down, get it done. Speaking from one veteran to others, it is worth it through and through. Like I said, it'll be hard for the first 6 months, and then for the rest of your 20-year career, you'll look back and think this was the best decision I ever made. It sounds like a catchphrase, but for myself, every day, I think this is the work I put in. I would do it all over again just to be where I am today. I'm happy in my apprenticeship, beyond happy. I would hope this reaches people, and I hope they think the same thing. And I hope one day you think, man, what this guy told me, I applied it. Here I am to this day. It might have seemed hard at first, but it wasn't in the long run, and it's well worth it. So thanks again, one veteran to another. I really hope some of you take this apprenticeship route. It's a very promising career. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. Please check out the Pure Michigan Talent Connect. Go into your local Michigan Works or have a conversation with your vocational rehabilitation counselor to learn more information about registered apprenticeship programs.